Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, also known as the Lashawan Kodash, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans here in the Western Hemisphere, and to the rest scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, who look like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites. I say Shalom, okay? And this is a news article that I just, came by, and it struck me as kind of odd, okay? And we're going to talk about it and go into it. This is from the New York Post, and it says, NYC firefighter 36 unalive of heart attack after being fired to pay for migrants leaving his family with nothing. Okay, what's going on in this headline? There's a couple of things that you can extract from this headline. Okay, one being the obvious, the glaring is that a young, healthy, or what presumes to be a young, healthy male, in the prime of his life, is stricken by a heart attack, okay? And then two is, on the other hand, they're trying to somehow correlate it with the fact that migrants are, the reason or the cause behind it. Because why? He had to lose his job or to be fired, as we read in this article, to help the city fund for these migrants, okay? So it says, NYC firefighter 36 dies of heart attack after being fired to pay for migrants leaving his family with nothing. Right. So, you can look at it and take away from it multiple different angles, okay? Like I said, one, you have presumably a, male, in the peak, in the prime of his life, and he suffers a heart attack. And then two, you have, somewhat, this article is trying to associate that or contribute that to the fact that, New York City had to cut him because they had to, have funds on the bankroll to fund these migrants, okay? Both scenarios, is a wake-up call, okay? Because one, as we read in this article, you're going to find out, there's nothing to build for or to expect out of this kingdom. And two, they're going to use you, Jake, as the, main cause behind this collapse of this society, okay? Now let's go on and further read. It says, an FDNY firefighter has been unalive of a heart attack just months after he was fired as part of the city's effort to free up funds for its migrant crisis. So they insinuating that because of the city, efforts to free up funds to fund the migrants, that somehow this was correlated with the unalive of this man incident that took place months after he was, canned or fired from his job. It says, leaving his grieving widow and children struggling to keep a roof over their heads. Derek Floyd, 36 years old, suffered cardiac arrest and passed away April 15th, 4 months after the city gave him the boot as part of a larger effort to pair staff and pay for housing and services for the tens of thousands of migrants flooding to the Big Apple. Now you have these, patriotic, American-blooded individuals that's going to look at an article like this and say, see, our mayor, our country is more concerned with funding people from other countries than taking care of their own, okay? And you can see, you're going to get more and more articles like this because they're going to put you Jake, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans as the poster child as why this society is continually to crumble and go into shambles, okay? It says, leaving his grieving widow and kids struggling to keep a roof over their head. Derek Floyd, okay? Not to be confused with the other Floyd, but Derek Floyd, 36, suffered cardiac arrest and passed away April 15th. We read this 4 months after the city gave him the boot as part of a larger effort to pair staff and pay for housing and service for the tens of thousands of migrants flooding the Big Apple. And make no mistake about it, this is all by design, okay? It goes on to say, Floyd was one of about 10 fire department employees who had been on long-term duty, either injured on the job and given office work or out sick for an extended period, and fired weeks before Christmas, okay? Which we don't care, man, because Christmas, that's a pagan holiday anyways. But you see how they try to tie this and, use the sentiment of right before a holiday, when you're supposed to be with your family celebrating the holidays, and that's the most family part of the year. Christmas, you exchange presents with your loved ones. The Most High says he despises of your feast days. So us in the truth, knowing we could care less about these holidays. All right, so it says, either injured on the job and given office work or out sick for an extended period, and fired weeks before Christmas. See how they put that Christmas in there? Weeks before Christmas. They playing on your emotions, okay? And this is how they're going to play on the emotions of the mass, okay? To put you Jakes in what? The optimal opportunity for you to be the poster child as why, or one of the reasons as why this economy is going down the way it's going. It says FDNY sources told the Post. Floyd, a veteran who served 3 tours in the Middle East with the Marines. This even goes on to say he served 3 tours, showing you that what? This country, the people, because this country is divided. Those that are for it and those that are against it. So those that are for it are going to say, see, this man served our country. He went on 3 tours and they still didn't show him the respect that he deserved. They let him go so that they could fund the migrant crisis. Okay, and this is all in the year of an election. So it says, had been among those working a desk job. Let's start up from the top. Floyd, a veteran who served 3 tours in the Middle East with the Marines, had been among those working a desk job, toiling in the fire department chaplain's office because he had suffered another heart attack in 2019 while he was in the fire academy. Right, so he suffered a heart attack prior to the one that he had before it took him out, okay? And who's to say between that one that he suffered and the one that he took prior that he didn't get that special jab, okay? Which could have, expedited things and had things to move a little bit faster than what they would have, okay? So this is why we say, man, know exactly what's going on, okay? Because you just wanted to, hitch your wagon to anything, and especially in this kingdom, there's nothing but, death, okay? So it says, and this is all, in the hopes of building in a kingdom that's on its way out the door, okay? That's why you shouldn't put any stock in this kingdom, man, especially in these last days that we are living in. So it says, because he had suffered another heart attack in 2019 while he was in the fire academy. Right, so like I said, presumably he seemed like a, healthy, vibrant male in the beginning. But as we read, we see that, he had prior health conditions leading up into this, okay? And who knows what brought that on, okay? Whether it was, incidents that took place while he was serving tour, or after, like I said, he probably could have, fell for the okie doke and went down and got the jab, and that led to the one that actually eventually took him out. But however it is, we're going to have to learn from this incident, okay? So it goes on to read, in the chaplain's office, the firefighter who was on modified duty helped arrange the funerals of fallen FDNY members. The married dad of 2 young children was trying to become medically clear to re-enter the firefighting force before he was fired. Okay? And they knew all this. And we're going to go on and read, he was going to get a large lump sum of life insurance, and they went ahead and let him go, okay? And that money was allowed to free up, and be allocated to help funding the migrant crisis, okay? So not only did he get the benefit of not receiving that money, but now he has a widow and their children are fatherless. Here it goes. Floyd had been just shy of vesting additional Esau Edom is wicked, boy. Floyd, so not only was he on medical absent, but he was almost getting ready to get as we're going to read, $600,000 in case something like this happened to help, his wife and his children. But months before, that incident took place, they fired him, leaving him out to dry. So it says Floyd had been just shy of vesting additional medical benefits for his family and more than $600,000 worth of death benefits when he was booted. So that was a major blow to his family, man. And that's why you can't really that's why you can't be invested in this society, in this kingdom, man. Because this man is complete wicked, okay? Knowing that he was going to be fully vested in receiving that $600,000 plus more, they seen and found a reason, because they already knew his health records, that, it wasn't looking good, that they were just going to use the excuse that we're funding migrants and we have to lay off certain individuals of the FDNY. So it says, when he was booted, leaving his family with nothing despite his years of service. So they didn't even recognize his years of service. They wouldn't even let him, enroll in this life insurance, so that, knowing that he's already had prior health conditions, if he get fired and, an incident like this take place, his children and his wife would be taken care of. Okay, no. They would rather use the built-in excuse that we're going to let certain individuals go so that we can fund the migrant crisis, okay? And this is why this kingdom, this society, this place known as Babylon the Great is in shambles, okay? And it's only going to get worse from here on out. It says, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Floyd's 34-year-old widow, Christine, told the Post of the family experience. I think it definitely took a toll once they let him go, she said of her husband's firing. He always tried to, stay positive about it, and he wasn't really angry. Right, and you can trust and believe he probably had a healthy mortgage that he had to pay, on top of not having a job that paid substantial as what he was getting paid, along with benefits with the fire department. So he probably had a healthy mortgage with these interest rates going up. And on top of that, he probably had a couple of cars, one from him and one for his wife. And, just the typical American, man, falling for all of Esau tricks. Buying these houses, what you can't afford, with this interest rate that keeps fluctuating, going up and down, inflation hitting, prices, food prices going up, medical expenses going up. You can't get ahead in this kingdom, man. That's why we praying, so that we can get the hell up out of here, man. There's nothing in this place that you should want to hitch your wagon to, man. This place wasn't meant to get comfortable in here, okay? We were sent here for a specific reason, okay? And now that that reason has been exposed and we know, we getting ready to get the hell up out of here, okay? Now we understand you got to get your daily bread, but to try to store it up and put it away, and expect for the worst, and for a rainy day, as if Salakia, as if Babylon the Great is going to somehow be revived and come back better than ever. That's complete madness, okay? And you see incidents like this happen all the time, okay? Not to this magnitude, but you see it all the time. Someone that's heavily, and I did a video about it, okay, a while back, but YouTube, they hit it for some type of not strike, but just because the woman, unalive herself, they put on their restricted content, okay? And it was basically going into the same thing like this, that what? This kingdom, speaking particularly in this incident and in that incident as well, Babylon the Great, which is America, is burdened to those that fully invest in it is so much that they were really just off themselves, okay? Then to handle the stress and the issues that come along with this place, okay? And that's pretty much what the woman did when she took or tried to attempt to take the life of herself and of her children, okay? So you see this kind of stress, continually to take out Jake because they not fully invested in the truth, okay? They truly put their faith in this man and his system, and time after time, this system lets them down, okay? Whether in the form of, not living up to their expectations, or, it just becomes too much and they have to look for other ways out, okay? So if it's in the incident of the lady who looked for a way out, and the fact that, she tried to off herself and the attempt on her children, or in this case where the wife is claiming that all this took a toll on him because, he had so much to worry about that it played a significant part in his cardiac arrest, okay? You cannot truly invest in this kingdom, man. You cannot invest at all because this kingdom is on its way out the door. There's a better kingdom that's coming right after, and it's ours, okay? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it says, I think it definitely took a toll once they let him go. She said of her husband's firing, he always tried to stay positive about it, and he wasn't really angry, right? And you got to try to stay positive, especially for your family. But in all actuality, man, when you invest in this kingdom, that's pretty much it. You pretty much reading the writing on the wall, man. This place is done for, man. But they say there's a sucker born every minute. So you got individuals that's truly invested in this society, in this kingdom, even though they have high interest rates, inflation is still going through the roof. You got people that thinking they got security with their jobs, okay? There's nothing that's secure in this kingdom, man. You have to be willing to lose it all, and the more you have, the more likely that you're not, okay? And the more heavily invested you are into this society, this kingdom, the more it's going to hurt when it lets you down. And trust and believe, it's going to let you down. To the fact that when they roll out that ultimatum, whether you have to take the mark or not, majority of the people are going to take that mark because why? They fully invested in this society. So it says, but you see a person and the wheels are turning in their brain where they're just constantly thinking. So I definitely think it did affect us. After Floyd was fired, he found a job with a non-profit that helps veterans, but the pay was a fraction. See, that's it, man. You cannot, listen, man, this is a cautionary tale, man. You have high hopes in this kingdom, you build in this kingdom, and then it lets you down. Now, this man was making substantially amount more money than this job that he had, but it wasn't enough to keep up with the lifestyle that he had. That's why you have to be able to live within your means, okay? Because you never know when you're going to have to be, willing to lose it all, okay? And it may have been too much for him to, overcome along with his health conditions, okay? This might have contributed to it. But the point is, you don't look to build in this kingdom, okay? You understand that, all right? You signing up for a 30-year mortgage with interest rates that continually to increase, not knowing that you can lose that job and something like this can happen all in one day. And now what are you going to be left to do, okay? That's a hard pill to swallow. So if you don't have the truth, you don't have anything, okay? And the truth is the word of this holy Bible, okay? Sent by the servants of the Most High, all right? So it says, after Floyd was fired, he found a job with a non-profit that helps veterans, but the pay was a fraction of what he made with the FDNY. The benefits were limited, and the hours prevented him from spending time with their kids, a 6-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. See? And this is just it, man. This kingdom, you get no rest. You can't. It has you continuously to work. It puts you in that slave mentality, okay? You're nothing but a debt slave, okay? Because as soon as you go and get a job and you go into, the matrix, you put yourself into debt and you become their debt slave because you can't outpace that interest rate and inflation, okay? Especially when you just making it or you just have your head above water and you have a hefty mortgage, all this plays into effect, all right? So it says they had a 6-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. He used to be so present for like our kids and stuff. Christian said being a firefighter was something he was really passionate about. He was really a big time like family person. He was all about his kids. Okay? And you could go on and read it, but you get the gist of it, This kingdom, this society, Esau, Edom's rulership, there's nothing beneficial about it for you, okay? That's why you have to disconnect from it, okay? You get your daily bread and you think nothing more than that, okay? Trying to build in this society is not good for your health, man. All right? It's not good for you at all. You have to be in the mindset that it can all be taken away. And when you move like that, you understand a little bit better, okay? So let's go and get a couple of precepts and let's take it from there. All right, this is the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10. It reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." And in this case, that sore destruction was the form of a cardiac arrest, okay? Coupled with the fact that, he had all these, responsibilities that was overwhelming for him, and he already had medical conditions prior to this cardiac arrest. He had one in 2019, okay? And we know in 2020, at the end, in the beginning of 2021, they had the campaign. They had the campaign of the, of the jab, okay? So he probably took that as well, all right? So it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest," okay? You're not going to get any rest here. You can't see your children when you want to. You can't take a day off. You got to pay that mortgage. You got to pay those taxes, because if you don't, they're going to take it from you, okay? You got to pay that property tax. Even if you pay for your house, you still got to pay for the land. And if you don't, it can be taken from you, okay? So you're not getting any rest here in this place. You can't lay your head down and don't have to worry about, if I don't make a payment, am I going to still have my property at the end of the day? No, because if you don't, it's going to get taken from you. Even if you made every payment and you only got 1 or 2 payments left, they could come and seize your property, So arise and depart, for this is not your rest. And we understand that, okay? And that's why we not putting and investing our, our mind, body, and spirit into this place, okay? We just getting our daily bread and we getting up out of here, okay? Because we know it's all coming to an end. And we strongly believe we in these last days and it's getting ready to come to an end, okay? But like I said, going back to the video that I went and read and did with that woman who tried to unalive herself and her children, it becomes overwhelming, okay? People pierce themselves with sorrows, all right? Let's read that in 1 Timothy. Because you're going to come to find out, the more you are heavily invested into this place, the more you put yourself in a position where you're going to be let down, and when you do, it's going to hit you hard like a bag of bricks, okay? And like I said, to the point that when they roll out that mark, people are going to willingly go down and receive it because they don't want to lose everything that they feel like they have been invested in this society and in this kingdom. And this is 1 Timothy 6 and verse 10. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, okay? So the love of money, when you lust, when you worship, when you put it as your God, it's the root of all evil, okay? And a lot of people, they're going to show their love for this money when they transfer it over into the digital currency and you have to receive that mark. They're going to show you who just they believe that their God is, okay? Their power is, because if they believe that their power was, as they say, God, they wouldn't take that mark. But when it comes down to it, you're going to see that what? Not only do they believe that, their God is money, but they don't trust in the true and living power, Yahweh, okay? And that's why they're going to be left over to their own devices to go take that mark, okay? That charagma. So it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, okay? And that's all you're going to get when you, love and worship this money. You're going to pierce yourself through with many sorrows, okay? And you see this time after time. People are heavily invested. They live without or in their means, and they do things that they wouldn't normally do, okay? They would do things that they wouldn't normally do to continue that lifestyle and to, keep up with that lifestyle, okay? And sometimes it just becomes overwhelming, and, coupled with health benefits, it's easy for them to, just say, give up the spirit, okay? So we have to be very cautious of this kingdom, man, because this kingdom, there's nothing that could come out of it that's positive, all right? It's on its way out the door, and like we said, we got next, okay? 2 Ezra 6 and 9. So 1 Timothy 6 and 10 says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, right? And that's why we tell you, live within your means, okay? You might be up one day and then the next day you down. And how are you going to deal with that if you're not fundamentally sounded? It could be a lot for you, okay? That's why we say just be content with your daily bread, man. Nothing more, nothing less. That's St. Matthew 6. And this is verse 11. Verse 9, it says, after this manner, therefore pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. See, we understand that we just here for our daily bread, just to get by. We're not looking to build in this society, in this kingdom, okay? We're not looking for one of these hefty 30-year, even if they claim fixed mortgage rates, because we know they'll change that up on you. And now you was thinking for 30 years you was going to get this fixed rate mortgage, And now all of a sudden, due to a crisis, now the interest rates have increased in year 15 or 20, and now you left with a higher mortgage to pay, and you can't pay it. Now all those years leading up into that is going to get, wiped away. All right, and the bank can come and seize and take your property from you. So it says, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors. Right, and Esau Edom, he doesn't forgive your debt. Although he says after 7 years, you can erase or expunge your credit, you still go in and apply for a loan. That bankruptcy is still going to be on your credit history, okay? So Esau lives in a hypocritical society, okay? On one end, he says he upholds the word, but on the other hand, he doesn't, and he doesn't show it, okay? That's why this place has to be taken out, man, because this place and the ruler of it, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he doesn't honor his debt, and he doesn't honor his word. So there's nothing that you should be, essentially hitching your wagon to, because like we said, this place is on its way out the door. All right, and this is another incident and a tragedy that another one in Esau kingdom bites the dust, man, because you are heavily involved, man. You think you got benefits because you work for the city and you're a state employee. Esau could care less about that, how many years you put in and work for him. If the bottom line comes down to the bottom dollar and him having to pay you a life insurance, to pay out you a life insurance, and he knows that you're not healthy and you've been on leave for the longest, and he sees a way to get out from paying you, especially after you file for benefits and you got a crisis that he can use for the migrants, he gonna let you go, okay? Now, I don't know if they gave him a severance package or they just let him go. But, this is how Esau gets down, man. So that's why we tell you, don't be invested in this society, in this kingdom, man, because it's on its way out the door, okay? So that's all I wanted to bring out. We're going to go ahead and close out in 1 Peter 5 and 8, and let's take it from there. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, and it reads, be sober, be vigilant. Okay, we warn you, we tell you of these things because when they happen, you can't say that you didn't know. All right. It says, Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Okay. So you're not going to get any real wisdom and knowledge outside of this truth, because this truth puts you on game. It lets you know exactly what the enemy is plotting and planning for you. Okay. And then knowing that, you can move accordingly. All right. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And the more you invest in this kingdom, the more easily it is going to be for him to devour, because he knows by process of elimination, when you build in this kingdom, when you start, this is Esau Edom we talking about. When you build in this kingdom, when you start to formulate a family, you get married, okay, which by his standards, marriage is now according to the Bible. So once you start a family, you essentially find a woman, a wife, who, let's just say 9 out of 10 times isn't a virgin. You build a family with her. You create children. Now those children aren't yours; it's hers in the eye of the state. So if you was to break up, now what? The children get awarded to her, and if you have a pension or whatever, she's going to get half of that plus alimony plus child support. So on top of that, you paying for that. So in your attempt to build in this society, in this kingdom, you already now are behind the proverbial 8 ball, okay? So on top of that, in building, you have a family that you see that you wanted to start, and if it doesn't go according to plan, now you are farther behind. And not only that, you go in and you get a mortgage. Now you have to pay for that mortgage, and if you pay the house off half of that's going to go to her. So there's nothing in this society, in this kingdom, that screams, invest, 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 buy into, buy into, buy into. Okay? Because if you do, you're going to be heavily let down, especially when you see what's right around the corner. Okay? Because the collapse is coming. It's inevitable. Okay? It's coming. Whether you prepare for it or not, the collapse is coming to this place, man. Speaking of Babylon the Great, which is America, okay? The U.S. dollar will implode on itself. Turmoil will continue to escalate to the point where you're going to have civil unrest, okay? You're going to have the country divided against itself. Those that are for certain political issues and those that are against it. We're already seeing it right now with the war and between the Israelis and the Palestinians. You got all these college campuses that's protesting for and against. So the writing is already on the wall. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And like I said, the more invested you are into this society, the more easy it's going to be for him to devour you, okay? Because you're not going to want to let it go. You don't have that mentality, all right? You still have that Gentile state of mind, okay? And unless you are reborn and repent and be converted, you ain't going to make it up out of this place, all right? So just wanted to bring that out. With that being said, I pray some of us edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the good Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.